Hello friends, TechManPat here, and today we got ourselves a new robot lawnmower to review. Bigger than ever, almost a ride-on, matte white for that rugged look, a fish-eye camera to detect criminals in your yard, a station with built-in window washers, and yeah, blades in the belly of the beast to cut grass. This is the GOAT G1 from a very famous robotics company, Ecovacs, and if you've been following this channel for a bit, you would have seen a few Ecovac vacuum robot reviews, and the key takeaway from those videos has been the incredible navigational capabilities for the inside of your home. But does vacuuming technology translate into the outside world, into mowing your lawn well and at the same time navigating around dogs, kids, toys, rocks, trees, garden beds, holes, and all manner of grass objects? Has Ecovacs hit another home run, or is this GOAT G1 doomed to be a party trick? Well, let's find out in this video. Big thanks to Ecovacs for bravely sending the GOAT G1 for review. Let's get down to business and roll the intro. Let me start off with a fun fact. Fun for grass, I guess, not my wallet. I've spent hundreds of dollars in water bills to try and get my lawn to look green during what I would call a hot summer. Luckily, it was all in vain and my grass is as yellow as the goat's teeth, bar a few nice lush green patches that you will get to see in this video, so bear with me. Okay, the GOAT G1. Obviously, it is a robotic lawnmower. It has a single rotor with 4 sharp blades on a disc that roughly cuts grass as tall as 10 centimeters with a cutting width of 22 centimeters. The cutting height is interesting because anything taller than 10 centimeters makes the bot back away via the bumper sensor in the front. However, you can adjust it in the app, and the sensitivity of this can go from 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters, and 20 centimeters. Mainly used if you have a bumpy ground. It has a manually adjustable cutting height from 6 centimeters to 3 centimeters off the ground with no extendable edger of any kind, and I have yet to see a robot that has that. It has a rain sensor and is waterproof bar a swim in the pool. It has 2 very powerful and grippy wheels on the back that can manage at least 40% inclines with ease, and 2 roller wheels at the front for stability. From a navigational technology standpoint, the GOAT utilizes multiple sensors to navigate your grass, including a 360-degree panoramic camera and a fisheye camera with a 150-degree visual angle for an effective visible range of up to 100 meters. Lastly, the camera tech enables real-time scanning at 25 frames per second for accurate ambient awareness and object detection. But wait, this is no Dyson product. We're not depending on the cameras alone to navigate. The GOAT also includes a time-of-flight sensor for measuring distances between the camera and objects, integrated ultra-wide wireless carrier wave communication, localized technology, inertial navigation, and GPS just in case things get a bit hairy out there in the jungle. All this translates into very accurate positioning and navigation. However, there is one or a few caveats. You don't get perfection without at least 2 or 4 crutches, as I might call them. What I mean by that is that to provide that precision of navigation, we have to put out these white beacons on the edges of the lawn we want to cut. The more lawn you have, the more beacons you need. They need to be spaced out within 45 meters to each other, and the GOAT only comes with 2. So if your yard's too big, gotta buy a few more. However, unlike other lawn robots that depend on pure satellite navigation, the GOAT's beacons mean you no longer have to worry about blocked signals by houses, trees, and carports. More on that in a moment. Just like its vacuum brethren, the GOAT G1 uses the AVI 3D algorithm to perform accurate obstacle avoidance, and it really works well. Not only that, when it fails by nudging the object, it quickly corrects itself and goes around, especially when it's trying to find a way through to the next area to mow. I put the GOAT G1 through what I would call a pretty tough test. Navigate through my backyard out the front via a carport with an assortment of obstacles in its path. It was a little bit unfair, I'll give it that, but the GOAT G1 has been doing it every week without fail and without assistance from me. I cannot fault the navigation system, it's that good. Let's talk capabilities. The Goat looks to be perfect for a medium to large sized lawn. It's really not for small areas at all, and according to Ecovacs, it can efficiently mow areas of up to 1,600 meters squared, probably limited by the amount of beacons you can set up. With its speed and recharge time, which is rather slow, it can do up to 600 meters squared a day. However, my first gripe with it is the battery size. According to documentation, it can do about 100 minutes from one charge, which means that throughout the day, it could potentially recharge multiple times if you have a very large lawn. For example, the total area for me is 239 meters squared, and the Goat had to recharge at 40%, which was weird as it had only a few patches to go, even though I knew it was going to go back to them because the map told me it's not finished. There must be some sort of minimum battery setting that flipped a switch here. In any case, less than 30 minutes later, the Goat was back to finish the job. Now, let's talk about major emissions, which actually live in the app of all places. There is no zoning in the app, which is a bit strange since the same app for the vacuums has amazing zone and area features. So when you mow, you have to mow all your lawns at once, and from my point of view, this is a real gap in the software. I feel like the design of the Goat was for one large lawn and not for two separated by a path or area. It looks like a bit of a workaround to connect a backyard and front by making the robot think there is a grass in between, but sort of like a really thin line of grass. Ecovacs needs to add a feature of setting a path between two zones, and of course the zone feature too. That would be great. If you want to add a new beacon, you have to delete the old map and redo the whole thing, which is a pain, especially if you just want to move one beacon to a different location in your garden or away somewhere. There seems to be no history or reporting on the last mow, and for some reason the pin code, which is supposed to be an anti-theft feature, keeps triggering, forcing me to continually put the pin in before starting the bot. Again, a softer issue that comes and goes. With that out of the way, let's talk cool app features. Animal protection means it won't scare off the bandicoots at night. Station Keeper detects people within 7 meters of the station. No more creepers creeping. You can manually set the mowing direction, and of course you can schedule it, which works best if you don't have a dog that poops on your lawn. Anti-theft functionality, as mentioned, works way too well, and in reality the Goat is just too heavy to steal anyway. Ecovacs have implemented the TUV Rhineland data protection to keep your data secure and away from prying eyes. This is of course certified by a third-party organization. Now, speaking of cool functionality, as is tradition now, every Ute and his dog has to have AI in front of the name. But while there are some that do it for show, it seems like Ecovacs has some real smarts built in, and they can definitely use the word AI. The Ecovacs app includes optional lab features. One that I would recommend to everyone is the AI recognition. Now look, it's not perfect AI recognition, but it's not bad. So while the Goat dodges bowls, trees, pot plants, it came undone when my dog had a bout of what I would call soft serve poo. Well, the Goat decided that it was time to take all that poo for a round trip around my yard and pavers and garage and then front lawn. And of course it did its job, it mowed everything, and I was happy, but I had a bit of cleaning to do. It was quite a remarkable journey. Now, to be fair, I had scheduled it to come on the day after bin day when it all gets picked up, but obviously one was added post initial cleanup. Now, as Brian would say, look on the bright side of life. I got to test if the Goat is hose down proof, and I can certainly say yes. This got a massive hose down. Speaking of rain, the rain sensor will stop the mow and send the robot back home. And what's good is once the rain has stopped and it's fairly dry, the robot will go back to where it left off and continue. Same goes for when the battery runs low. Now back to the beacons. Ecovacs says wire-free setup, but beacons feel like an in-between wire-free and wire solution. Compared to the last robot I tested, which used one beacon antenna-like system with a satellite connectivity, this right here seems tedious. However, it gets much better results. Now, if you are putting these out on the front lawn, well, they can easily be stolen, but I don't think people will because I don't think people know what this exactly is. Ecovacs recommends taking them off their perch, or the stand, and storing them until next use, but I would imagine a lot of people won't at all. Now, based on your lawn shape, you're asked to put these beacons in certain arrangements, which isn't too hard, but based on the size, you're going to need quite a few of these, and at $349 for 2, it may be hard to swallow for some who's already spent $3,000 on the robot. Add to that the 3 Type D alkaline batteries, which, you know what, I have no idea how long they last. Months? Years? I'm not sure. So far I can say at least 2 months, and according to the documentation, the app will let you know when it's time to replace. You get 2 of these beacons in the box, and they have a radius of about 45 meters, which means you have to have enough of these beacons to cover your entire lawn, and the radius needs to overlap. They need to be away from walls and at least 5 meters from the fence or a tree. They also need to be completely straight, not on a slope and not angled to the side, which means they can't be hidden and are in view most of the time, which, you know what, could be annoying if you like your garden lacking white antennas. And they're waterproof. However, I didn't really follow these instructions because I'm me and I wanted to see how far I can push the system. And honestly, I expect a lot of new owners will do the same. I don't think a lot of people read instructions either, but gosh darn it, the Goat one did exactly what it was built for. It mowed my lawn and the back lawn perfectly, bar the edges, even managed to deal with the very tall grass around the mulberry tree. No questions asked, it didn't get stuck, it didn't whinge, it avoided the odd obstacles, and it certainly didn't get lost due to my beacon placement. So I think the beacons can do a lot more than 45. The manual height adjustment is okay. I've seen it automated on other robots. Overall, the grass cut is really nice. The Goat moves slowly, so it takes a few hours, but the grass ends up being straight and clean cut. The station is large. It's very, very large. It's even got storage for the spare blades at the top here and tools. But wait, there is more. It also has an automated brush that cleans the camera glass in case of dirt. On paper, the Goat G1 can do slopes of up to 45%, but then deep in the instructions I've found that it says 20%, but I can confirm it has no problems going up slopes. But keep in mind that the front will scrape like a 1992 Toyota Supra with Tanabe Sustec GF210 springs and a Veris GR widebody kit if the slope is too high. The Goat also has a guard mode, which will notify you when it detects a human about 7 meters with its AI cameras. And that's a neat party trick I can actually get behind. You can also control it remotely and view the world through its panoramic camera, which luckily has a black spot right at the top to stop the sun from burning out the CMOS sensor. So why would anyone want a robotic lawnmower? Well, personally, I have crazy allergies for grass, dust, and pollen, which is an extra problem to solve, and of course a significant lack of time to work on my garden. So the first benefit is not needing to mow your lawns. Secondly, consistent mowing is better for your lawn, keeping it healthy and good looking. But mainly, of course, the time saved. All of the above for 299 Australian dollaroos. So does the math stack up? Well, with the time saved, you could learn a language or read a book, or more than likely crack a beer and watch the Goat G1 do its thing. Then financially, if you've paid someone to mow your lawn once a week, this works out to be, let's say, 2 hours for a large lawn. Then multiply that by 52 weeks at $40 an hour. Here in Perth, for example, you get yourselves an annual lawn maintenance of roughly $4,160. So the ROI is technically less than a year. But is that the reality? Could it actually be set and forget? Well, yes, with some nuance that's based on the shape of your lawn. It is by far the best outdoor navigator I've seen. It cuts grass like a champ, the battery life could be better, and having zoning would be fantastic, but some of my concerns can be made right with a software update. So here is my recommendation for today. If you have one large lawn with lots of trees, gardens, bushes, animals, rocks, and a corn maze, then the Ecovacs Goat G1 has the navigational chops to manage, and it'll become your best mate in the garden. However, if you've got a tricky shaped lawn, separate front end, and acreage, it's probably not the bot for you. Links below where you can find the Goat G1 for purchase. Big thanks to Ecovacs for sending this robot for review. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in another video. Thanks and bye!